up, my fellow collectors? I'm back again with another review featuring Sephiroth, produced by Square Enix Products. The former legendary soldier who was perhaps one of the most memorable villains in video game history, challenged only by Bowser from Super Mario Bros. From his long flowing silverish lavender hair, to his leather trench coat, to his iconic, ridiculously long Masamune sword, everything has been recreated beautifully from the folks at Square Enix Products. This figure is based off of his appearance from the animated film Final Fantasy VII Advent Children. I really have to commend Tetsuya Nomura, the character designer and director of the film, for just updating his look. Rather than clutter his perfect, simplistic design, he didn't add any pouches or straps or chains. He just took what he had from Final Fantasy VII and updated him with current-gen technology. And because of that simplistic design, it allows for a very, very posable figure. And I love that. Like Cloud and Noctis, he was such a joy to play around with. His body features soft to mild ratchet joints, which means he can hold pretty much any pose you want to give him. However, there are limitations. His coat, which is made of a soft rubber material, does prevent one from giving him deep action poses. Aside from that little nitpick, I am completely satisfied with this figure. He was just a lot of fun to play with, and he's a looker. The paintwork on him is great. He comes with a few extra hands, and one additional accessory that I didn't like too much. It's the one angel wing that was seen in the climax of the animated film. The reason why you don't see it here is because it just did not look all that great to me. The way how it flays out, there's a huge gap in 2 points. And it just didn't look that good, so I just left it out for most of this video. And as you saw earlier, he scales perfectly with Cloud, which is very surprising given Square Enix Products' history of not giving a crap about scale. And I am pleasantly surprised by seeing Sephiroth lined up perfectly with Cloud. He's supposed to be a very tall and imposing character. Had they screwed up the scale, I would not have done a review on him. In fact, I skipped doing a review on Squall Leonhardt, who was released not too long ago. And the reason why I skipped him is because he was out of scale. Yeah, sure, you can make the argument and say, oh, but he's from the Dissidia line. But I don't agree with that. Just about every line that Square Enix Products has produced figures from has at least one or two characters that are either too small or too big. And it just ruins everything, in my opinion. As this segment comes to an end, I just want to say thanks for watching. If you liked what you saw, please like and subscribe. If you want to stick around and see me pose Sephiroth, please, by all means, stick around. Thanks for sticking around, my fellow collectors. And as I mentioned in my last video, I was going to introduce a new segment, and here it is. For the first time, you'll see my hands, and I'm going to take you all through the process of how I pose my figures. The reason why I split this up into two segments is because I'm pretty sure many of you noticed by now that in my videos, you only see the figure and you never see my hands. And there's a reason for that. I'm an aspiring filmmaker, and I think that it should only be about the subject matter. Like, for instance, Sephiroth. My approach is, it should only be about the figure. You should not have to see my hands. That's my approach. There are a bunch of other reviewers out there that do a great job at what they do. They freestyle, they improvise, and they do it live, basically. They record everything they do. You see their hands, and they're talking right then and there. You know, there's no editing involved. There's no narration. It's just them in the moment. And I'm not really good at that. What I like to do is get these figures in these poses and try to do some cool camera, some cool shots with the camera, some cool angles, and do some lighting, because I just want to give it that cinematic flair. Because, like I mentioned, I'm an aspiring filmmaker, and this is just me getting my filmmaking itch. I mean, scratching that filmmaking itch. See, right there. I'm not good at doing things on the fly. So to maintain my style and hopefully not upset anyone in the process, I've decided to separate the styles. Segment 1 will be the main video, what everyone's used to, and the second segment will be this, what you're seeing in front of you right now. And I'm going to take the chance to talk to everyone and hopefully start some conversations and just talk about things that are on my mind, things I want to get off my chest. It won't be political because anything political it's a hot topic right now, and I want to just stay clear of that. I'm just going to talk about, for example, movies, video games, or things that are upsetting me at the moment, and ask everyone else if you want to participate and talk about what's on your mind. You know, just start a discussion. You know, I want to make friends with everyone that's subscribed to me or potential subscribers. I don't want it to just be I'm just showing everyone the figure and that's it. And of course, you do have the choice. If you're not liking what you're seeing or hearing, just mute me. That's fine. You can just mute me and put on some background music and just watch my two hands touch these action figures in a non-weird way, of course. But if you want to hear what I have to say, then, you know, by all means, stick around. You know, and I appreciate it. So remember, everyone, this is purely optional. All right? You want to continue watching and not listen to me ramble on. You know, for all I care, you're probably thinking this guy's like everything I'm saying right now is coming off to you guys as But you know, if you find what I have to say interesting and you want to get into a conversation with me, you're more than welcome. By all means, please. Now, some of you have been wondering why I haven't come out with a video in a while. There's a reason for that. And it's kind of silly now that I'm thinking back on it. But, I don't know, it's kind of weird, but I'm just going to say it right now. The reason why I didn't come out with any videos for a while, and this is before I came out with the Deadpool video, was because I was kind of depressed. On top of which, I had a lot of personal things I had to take care of. You know, I'm getting ready to move, and I had to help out with the family business because they're understaffed. But mainly it was because I was depressed. And what was I depressed about? And this is where many of you are going to be thinking, all right, Brooklyn Wolf, he's lost it. He's lost his mind. But I'm going to tell it anyway. It was during that time when Batman from Batman vs. Superman, Deadpool, and Optimus Prime were supposed to have come out. It was around end of October, early November, give or take. And each item I was anxiously waiting for was being pushed back, delayed, due to, I'm pretty sure, a couple of reasons. For instance, Deadpool, he was delayed due to the wrist problem, right? And Batman, I think he was delayed because of the shipping problems. I think it was Hanjin or some shipping company that basically went bankrupt, and everything was left in limbo, and it was a whole big mess. And I think Optimus Prime was also affected. So there I was, really looking forward to making these videos about Batman, Deadpool, and Optimus. But they were all delayed a month to 2 months. And it really, really bummed me out. I know we have many, many other really important things in the world to be concerned about. Yeah, first world problems, whatever. And I agree. It was just a really stupid, silly thing to be upset and depressed about. I mean, I was not like in a state of depression. I was just really bummed out, and I had no energy, no inspiration to do anything. You know, and then even when I received the figures, it took me just maybe a week or two to finally get back into the mood of making videos. And again, I was just really bummed. I don't know how many of you saw my Deadpool video, See, that video, I knew from the get-go of how I wanted to do it. I wanted to do a stop motion with a lot of copyrighted music, you know, and I put a lot of work into that. Yeah, I don't know if, well, some of you may disagree, but I did put a lot of work into it, and it was a lot of fun to make. It was a lot of fun, and I knew I was not going to monetize it because I just wanted to do a silly video and be humorous, and wanted to do some really really dirty jokes and use a lot of curse words and stuff like that. But yeah, that was the video I wanted to make, but it took so long for the figure to arrive here that I was just, it really bummed me out. Same thing for Batman and Optimus. But now that they're all here, I made them, and I had a lot of fun doing them. But I wish they came out earlier when my inspiration was at its highest. So those of you that are still watching this, I'm going to pose a question to you guys. Get it? Pose? Alright. I'm going to ask you guys a question. Is there anything you would consider really minor, non-things that upset you, where you just end up sitting on the couch and thinking, what is it? FML? F my life, right? Be honest. Be brutally honest. And let's just share. Let's just talk about, like, what are the things that get you guys upset, or what get you guys triggered, you know, pissed off, and just want to rage. So let me talk a little bit about the figure right now. Basically, the way how I approach it is, I just try to remember certain scenes in the film, or animated film in this case, of how Sephiroth looked and how he posed, and I just try to do it all from memory. On top of that, I'm also an artist. I like to draw manga and anime style, and I try to picture in my head how I want these figures to look, and it's a real joy when they could pull off when they could pull off what I see in my mind. It's a real joy. But then when I come across figures that are just so hindered by their outfit, such as Thor from the Dark World. Oh my goodness, I could not get into any poses. When I come across those kind of figures, I try to push them to the limit, and thankfully nothing has broke on me yet. But I try to push the figure past its limit, and sometimes there's a little scuffing or a little scratching on the for example, like Stormtrooper armor, where some of the white would end up on the black latex type suit inside, or the armor, the white armor will get scratched up. I don't know. I've come to the point where I don't really care about these little minor blemishes on the outfit. I do care if there are minor blemishes on the sculpt, but in terms of the figure itself, when I'm posing them, I like to put them in these dynamic poses. And sometimes with Hot Toys figures, it's just really hard to do that because of the material they use. And that's why I'm so happy with the way how Batman came out from Batman vs Superman. He was a delight to play around with because he was not. I mean, yeah, there's a little blockage in the way how he moves because of the suit and the outfit and stuff like that. But overall, he was another figure that was a joy to play around with because of the poses you can get him in. You know, he's not the static type of figure that you get from Batman or Batman Returns. Even Arkham City Batman, that thing it looked great, but you couldn't get him into any nice, natural, organic looking poses. And that's how I approach things. I always like to make them look natural, organic, dynamic as well. And another approach I like to take with these figures is I only give them poses that make sense to the character. You know, oh, right there, I went a little too far with Sephiroth's rubber outfit. His belt came out of that little notch right there. It was fine. I glued it back. But yeah, you gotta watch out for that. So be careful, everyone. Okay, be careful. It's not major damage. You've noticed it's just a little button that popped out of his little notch right there. But back to what I was saying before. I like to I not like it's mandatory. I only give poses to characters that that makes sense for the characters. For example, I'm not going to give Jack Sparrow a ninja pose where 3-point landing pose, or he's using two swords, one where he's placed in front of his hand, placed in front of his face, and the other is like behind him, and the sword comes out just rising above his shoulder. I'm not going to do that. Same thing goes for Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader, Indiana Jones, Marty from Back to the Future and Terminator. I give them poses that make sense for the character. I'm not going to give a Dragon Ball pose to Finn from Star Wars, right? So when people say, "Oh yeah, I can't pose him; it's really stiff," well, look at the character. Does the character require deep action poses? Well, like I mentioned before about Thor, well, he was in a lot of dynamic poses in the movies. So when I'm trying to get him into that 3-point pose where he has the hammer on the ground, and one knee on the ground and the other, the 3-point landing pose, you know what I'm talking about. I cannot get him to do that. Hell, I couldn't even get him to do an ab crunch. That's how frustrating it was. That's how frustrating of a character or figure that is. But yeah, that's pretty much how I approach posing my figures. I just do things that make sense for them. So if it's a character that is stiff, but you don't really see him doing these crazy Dragon Ball, Naruto, anime type exaggerated poses, it's fine. But if you see them doing things like a simple thing such as bending over and picking something up or getting a weapon ready, but the figure's outfit prevents you from doing that, that's when I have a big problem. That's when I get really pissed off if a character cannot do a simple thing like that. As I mentioned earlier in my review of Sephiroth, how I was really bummed out. Well, not bummed. I was pissed about Squall Leonhardt from Final Fantasy Dissidia. I don't get it. I don't know why Square Enix products why do they constantly do that? Why is it so hard to keep the figures in line with each other and scale with one another? Why is it so hard? I remember reading it on Sideshow Freaks. I don't remember who said it, but someone mentioned that the sculptor or whoever's in charge of Square Enix products, they actually went out of their way and said they don't care about scale. And I'm thinking, what the F is your problem? What's wrong with keeping things in scale? I mean, it's not like you're dealing with Transformers where you have this one Autobot that's like huge compared to a smokescreen or a hot rod, right? These are human characters. Why is it so hard to keep Lightning in scale with Snow or whoever? I didn't really play Final Fantasy 13, but you know what I'm talking about, right, guys? And so I'm thinking to myself, okay, now my dreams of doing a battle diorama with Cloud and Squall and even Sephiroth, well, that's out the window because Squall was just so much shorter than Cloud and Noctis. And I'm thinking, all right, screw that. And at that point, I was seriously considering just dropping PlayArts Kai for good. And then, of course, with Sephiroth, I was like, all right, you know what? I can't imagine them screwing it up because, let's be honest, Final Fantasy VII is pretty much what put Tetsuya Nomura on the map. Okay, Final Fantasy VII and his character designs, his anime-inspired character designs. So I think anything Final Fantasy VII related pretty much gets top billing. All right, it gets sent to their A team, right? And everything has to be done perfectly. So that's just my opinion. I don't know if that's true, but That's what I get. That's the feeling I get. But then again, I think they screwed up Tifa. I don't have Tifa because I didn't like the way how her joints were done and didn't look all that great. But yeah, can someone tell me if they screwed up Tifa? I think they did. Yeah, Tifa doesn't match up well with Cloud or something like that. I don't remember. But yeah, again, I'm just pleasantly surprised that Sephiroth was in scale with Cloud. I was really worried that when I got the figure, he was gonna end up being the same height, or God forbid, smaller than Cloud. That would have pissed me off big time, and I would have actually, I don't know, naively sent a letter to Square Enix product saying, you know what, you guys suck. So yeah. Anyway, this was fun. I enjoy just getting things off my chest and just talking about random stuff and letting everyone know what went through my mind when I made these past few videos and why I haven't made any videos for a while. Yeah, and hopefully this will have this will bring me closer to my viewers and whoever wants to watch this, on a more personal level. You get to know me more, and I get to know you guys more. Hopefully, if you contribute in the, in the comment section, we can get some conversations going. But thanks for watching, guys, and thanks for sticking through with me as I just rambled on. This was a lot of fun, and I'll see you guys soon. All right, take care.